Already we complete these four topics. Next topic is the role of the Android manifest file. Role of the Android manifest file. Here, what is that? Already we know about the role of the Android manifest file. Already we learned about the Android manifest file. What is the role? What is the role in the Android manifest file? We are using in that widgets are like that. Here the Android manifest.xml, it is a configuration file. Means here already we know about, already in previous class we learned the Android manifest file. Here what is this role means? Here this, it is a configuration file. It is created by ADT. It is created by ADT when creating this new Android project and is kept in the project's root directory. Here means here when you have to create a new Android project, on the time you kept in the project's root directory. Here when we create a new Android project and it is kept in the project's root directory. Here this manifest file, it presents the essential information about our app to the Android system. Here this file presents the some of the information about our app. For example, you are having some apps in the phone, means a WhatsApp app or a Byju's app, like that. Byju's app, next WhatsApp, that are the example of apps here. Here it presents the, this file presents the essential information about that apps, about our apps to the Android system. Here the information must have before it run any of the apps code here. Next, in it is an XML file. Already we know about the XML language, extensible markup language. Here it defines the overall structure and information about that application. Here it is an XML file, means Android manifest.xml. Here it defines the overall structure and information about the application. Here for example, we take the activities, services and intents. These are used in the application. Activities, services and intents used in the application. Here this also, next it also contains the permissions that the application need to be run. Here it also contains, means Android manifest file also contains the permissions that the application might need to be run here. Here it also defines the metadata of the application, such as its icon and label. Here it also defines the metadata. Metadata means data about data. This of that application, such as its icon and label. For example, it defines the metadata about data of that application. For example, we have WhatsApp, and we have this app. We are using this app and a Microsoft Teams app. Have some that icons and have to labels. It defines the data about that application. Data about that application. It also defines like this. Next point. Next, it also contains, this file also contains the information required in building and packaging the application. Here this file also contains the information about in packaging the application for installing and deploying it an Android device or the emulator, or about the emulator. Means another point is here the file also, what file here? XML file, means Android manifest file. It also contains the information required in packaging the application for installing and deploying it for the Android device or the emulator. Here To sum up, means this application manifest file contains the essential information required by the Android system. Means here this application contains the all the essential information required by the Android system to run the application. అప్లికేషన్ రన్ చేయడానికి మనకి ఈ మేనిఫెస్ట్ ఫైల్ అనేది అవసరం అవుతుందమ్మా. హియర్ వీఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ సమ్ రోల్స్. మీన్స్ this manifest file essentially fulfills this following roles. Here. First role is it makes key information about the app. It makes key information about the app available without having to read other files in the package or run the application. Here it makes key information about the app available without having to read other files in the package or run the application. It makes key information about the app without having to read other files in the package or run the application. The next point is it defines which components of that application. It defines which components of the application. Already we learn about these components in first topic, such as activities and services. Means it will be accessible external to other apps and how those components interact with other apps. Here it is unambiguously declares the which components and resources. Means unambiguously means here ambiguous means same, unambiguous means different. Different to declares with the components and resources, means icons, text strings, etc. To use these cases in particular with relation to other apps. It declares with components and resources, means here icons, text strings, etc. To use in these cases in particular with application to other apps. Here in this manifest file another role is it lists the libraries that the application must be linked. It lists the libraries that the application must be linked. Libraries means already predefined files. It lists that libraries the application must be linked here. Next, these are the key roles we are using in the manifest file. Next, for example, if we have app can accept files shared from other apps, this manifest file says which component we will receive these files and what kind of files it can receive. Here, for example, if that is there any app can accept files shared from other apps, the manifest says which component will receive the files and what kind of files it can receive. Here, if is there any app means share. If there any app here can accept files shared from other apps, this manifest says this manifest file em cheptundante which component will receive the files and what kind of files it can receive. Next, what is the main advantage of this approach? Means it pulls all of the information one place. It reduces the mistakes when a developer is making an app. Means here it puts all of the information in one place. Information మొత్తం ఒక దగ్గర పెట్టుకుంటుందమ్మా. Next, it reduces the mistakes or is there any errors when developer is making an app develop చేసేటప్పుడు ఏదైనా errors ఏమన్నా ఉంటే అది reduce చేస్తుంది. This is the role of this is the advantage of by using the manifest file. Here, next point is it is also extensible system. So other kinds of data can be added later without breaking existing apps. Means here it is an extensible system. Extensible system means we are having some of the features how to add later. means other kinds of data can be added later without breaking existing apps. Already ఉన్న యాప్స్ బ్రేక్ అవ్వకుండానే మనం దీంట్లో కొన్ని ఇంకా ఫీచర్స్ అనేవి యాడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు బై యూజింగ్ దిస్ ఫైల్. And it is able to read one file to get all the apps metadata can help with performance. Here it is able to read one file. It is able to read one file to get all the apps metadata can help with performance. Metadata means data about data can help with this performance. That these are the advantages of about the manifest file. Next. Next, here this is the default code in the Android manifest file. This is the default code in the Android manifest file. Here take here XMLNS means here manifest we are using the XML means extensible markup language. Here we use the manifest XMLNS means here extensible markup language. NS means namespace. Here we give the Android equal to schemas dot android dot apk res folder that Android. This package equal to com dot android unleash welcome message. We give the message is welcome message. Here and version code is 1. Here version name is 1.0. Here what are the users? Here in this users SDK means SDK. Here uses SDK Android min SDK version software development kit. Here version is 8. Android target SDK version 15. Next in this these are the users. Next this application Android is icon drawable icon launcher. Next label string. You give the app name is tagadama. That's what. Next theme. We give the some themes for styles. For example, we are using the Microsoft Team app. On that time we give the app name Microsoft Team. Style that icon style. Next this activity Android name we could welcome message activity. Next Android label string title activity welcome message. Intent already we know about the intent activities. Intent filter, in that filter you have give the some action Android name. Take action main. Next category means to give the launcher here. Next we close here and activity application manifest. Activity application manifest here. Next so that is the default tag. That is the default code here. Default code in the Android manifest file. We have next. We are using some tags here. The tags explanation in this here first. Here in this the manifest tag is the root element. It is the root element of this XML document and contains the several attributes here. Here in this manifest, here manifest tag is the root element of this XML document and it contains the several attributes. And what are the attributes we are having here means first one Android here. Here in this Android it identifies the Android namespace and it is used to provide several system attributes used within the application. Means here it identifies the Android namespace. It is used to provide several system attributes. It is used in that within the application. That is called the here Android. Next one is package here. In this package its value is set to the application's Java package. Here the name of the application package acts as the unique identifier for the application in the Android device. Its value is set to the application's Java package. The name of the application package acts as the unique identifier for that application in the Android device. Next, here we use the version code and version name here. What is meant by version code here? Version code is it is attribute. It is used to define the current application version. Current application version. It is called the version code here. Next, version name. Version name. Here this version is used internally to compare application versions. Means this version it is used internally to compare with other application versions. Here this version name it attribute it is used to specify a version number that is displayed to users. It is displayed to users. Means this version name attribute it is used to specify a version number. We give here version number 1.0 that is displayed to users. That is displayed to users. Here next one is the users SDK. Users SDK. Here this tag is optional. Users SDK means this tag is optional here, and it is used to maximum, minimum and preferred API level required for the application. Means here users SDK, this tag is optional and it is used to specify the maximum and minimum and preferred API level required for the application to operate here. Next, in this we are having three attributes are used. In this 3 minimum and maximum. Here in this we are having three attributes are used with this tag. 3 attributes we are using for this tag. What are the 3 attributes means? First one, Android min SDK version. Android min SDK version. Next one, Android target SDK version. And next, Android max SDK version. Here first one, Android min SDK version means it is used to specify the minimum API level it is required for the application to run. It is the minimum value, and the default value is 1. For example, we are having that attribute says the minimum API level here required for the application is 15 here. Application 15 is 15. The Android SDK version is 15. Android SDK version is 15. Next, hence this application will run on the API level 15. Means here this application will run on the API level is 15, and Android min SDK version is 15. Android min SDK version is 15. Next one is Android target SDK version. Next attribute is Android target SDK version. It is used to specify the preferred API level on which the application to design to run. Used to specify the preferred API level on which the application designed to run. That is called the here Android SDK version. It is used to specify API level on which the application designed to run. Next, Android Max SDK version. Here it is used to specify the max API level supportable by the application. Means here this application cannot run on API. Means that the application cannot run on API level higher than the in this while installing the application, the Android checks the user's SDK. The Android system checks the user's SDK. Here these attributes defined in the application manifest files. These attributes means users SDK. These attributes defined in the application's manifest files, and it compare with the internal API level. Here this application can be installed only the value of the Android min SDK version attribute of the application must be less than or equal to the system API level. Here if the value of the Android minimum SDK version must be less than or equal to system API level. If this Android min SDK version attribute is not declared, it is assumed to the you have to assume with the 1. API level is 1. Here the value of the Android max SDK version of the application is declared must be equal or greater than the system API level. Min SDK version means less than. Next Android max target means it is greater than. Next tag is application tag. Next tag is application tag. Here this application tag, it is nested within the manifest in application. In this manifest you have this application. Manifest here nested within manifest is application here, which is the parent of application. Here we are having some of the control tags here, the icon and label attributes of the application here. The next it is referred to the icon and label resources is displayed by the Android devices to represent this application. Here the term drawable icon here the term drawable icon means it refers to the image file icon. It refers to the image file icon dot png. It refers to the icon dot png in the this folder, res folder. Next, and string app name, it refers to the control resources with id app name in the strings.xml file. It is stored in the res values folder of the application. Res values for the application. Next tag is the activity tag. Here in this activity tag here, it is nested within the application in the activity tag. This is the application Android Max SDK version application tag. And next in this you have to represent here the term drawable icon refers to the image file icon.png means in the res resource folder means a draw folder, and we have another one is at the rate of string.app name. It refers to the control resource with id app name in the strings.xml file. Next it is stored in the res resource values folder of the application here. Next one is the activity tag here. In this activity tag, we nested within this application. It is the activity. It describes the activity component. It describes the activity component here. Here, this tag name attributes, it identifies a class, and that is an activity. What is the activity means here? Welcome message activity. Welcome message activity. Here, this name begins with the period character. This name begins with the period character to show it's the relative to the com, com. Welcome com. Next, that is the welcome message activity is related to the manifest package value. How to remember creating the new Android project welcome message. How to remember that creating the new Android project welcome message. Here an activity named message welcome message activity. Here it is automatically created for us. Here in this specified package com, it is Android whole welcome message by the ADT. Here next intent folder. Next one is intent folder. In this intent folder, it is nested within activity. It is the intent folder. Here these intents are used to interact with the applications and services. These intents are used to interact with the applications and services. Here by default, this intent specifies the icon as main and it is category as launcher. Here. That is, it makes this activity from the application launcher, allowing it to launch when the application starts. మీన్స్ ఈ యాక్టివిటీ అనేది ఏంటంటే ఇంటెంట్ ఫిల్టర్లో ఉంటుందమ్మా. ఈ ఇంటెంట్స్ ఎందుకు యూస్ చేస్తామంటే టు ఇంటరాక్ట్ విత్ ద అప్లికేషన్స్ అండ్ సర్వీసెస్. ఈ హౌ టు ఇంటరాక్ట్ అప్లికేషన్స్ అండ్ సర్వీసెస్ ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవ్వడానికి ఇంటెంట్స్ అనేవి యూస్ చేస్తాం. బై డిఫాల్ట్ హియర్ ద ఇంటెంట్ స్పెసిఫైస్ ది యాక్షన్ యాజ్ అ మెయిన్ అండ్ కేటగిరీ యాజ్ లాంచర్. అంటే లాంచ్ చేయాలి కదా ఏదైనా యాక్టివిటీని. ఇట్ మేక్స్ దిస్ యాక్టివిటీ అవైలబుల్ ఫ్రమ్ ద అప్లికేషన్ లాంచర్. ఇట్ అలౌస్ టు లాంచ్ అండ్ వెన్ ద అప్లికేషన్ స్టార్ట్. ఏదైనా అప్లికేషన్ స్టార్ట్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు మనం లాంచ్ చేస్తాం. ఓకేనా, దట్స్ ఫర్ యూజింగ్ హియర్ ఇంటెంట్ ఫిల్టర్. బేసికలీ దిస్ ఇంటెంట్ ఫిల్టర్ tag declares the capabilities of different components through the nested action and category tags. Here besides the preceding default tags, it is used in the manifest file. These are the following some commonly used tags here. Besides we are having some default tags here. Default tags we are using the manifest file. Some of the commonly used tags, default tags. What are the here commonly used tags means? Here these are the tags, commonly used tags. These are the commonly used tags here. First one, service tag. Here this is service tag. It is used for declaring services. Here services refers to the process that run in the background. It refers to the run in the background without a user interface. Here they perform required processing and handle events silently. Without user interaction. We are using handle the events. Here next one, receiver tags, service tags. Next one is the receiver tags. Here it is used for declaring broadcast receivers. These are used to listen and respond to broadcast announcements. Broadcast receivers are used to listen and respond to the broadcast announcements. Here this application initiate broadcast for the interested applications. Means when some event occurs here. For example, we have any essential information or confirmation, it is required from the user. Confirmation it is required for the user before taking some action, restrictive action here, some specific action here. Next, an application can have any number of broadcast receivers here. An application can have any number of broadcast receivers here. This broadcast receiver, it responds by taking some action here. Some action here. Next one, provider tags. These are the default tags by used in the manifest file. These are the default tags by used in the manifest file. First one, service tags. Next one, receiver tags. Next one, provider tags. Third one is provider tags here. These are the provider tag. Here it is used for declaring content providers. Here this content providers provide content, that is data to applications. It is used for declaring content providers. These content providers, it provide content, that is data to applications. Here they help in handling, storing, sharing data. And sharing data such as audio, images, video and contact list with other applications. Means you have to handle the data, you have to store the data and you have to share the data such as audio, images, video and contact list with other applications. Here next point is Android ships with a number of content providers that the application can use to access and share data with other applications. Here Android ships with a number of content providers that the applications can use to access and share data with other applications. Here next point is the users permission tag. Here it is used for declaring the permissions that the application needs. It is used for declaring the permissions that the application needs. This is about the roles. This is the explanation about the default code used in manifest file. This is the default code in the Android manifest file. Already we learn about the manifest, package, users, application activity, intent filter, categories. Next, my next topic is you have to creating the user interface. Next topic is creating the user interface. Here there are three approaches to create the user interface in Android. What are the three approaches means? First approach is we can create user interfaces entirely in Java code, entirely in XML. We can create user interfaces entirely in Java code, entirely in XML. Here next second approach is combining both methods. Means here defining the user interface in XML and you have to modifying the through data to Java code. Next, the third approach is you have to combine this approach. It is highly preferred. The third approach, the combined approach, is highly preferred. These are the three approaches. How to create? We can create user interfaces entirely in Java code, entirely in XML. Next, second, how to combine these both methods. How to define a user interface in XML and then referring and modifying it about the Java code. Next, the third approach is the combined approach is highly preferred. Is highly preferred. Next, here the graphical user interface for an Android app by using some of the hierarchy of view and view group objects. Here the graphical GUI, the graphical user interface for the Android app by using some of the hierarchies. Here, what is the hierarchy here means? View and view group objects. View and view group objects. Here view, VIEW. Here view is the interactive UI component. View is the interactive UI component. UI means user interface component. Means here in or widget or control. UI component means widget or control. Here such as button and text field. Such as button and text field means here a view is an interactive UI component, user interface component, such as a button and text field. That are the user interface components here. Here button and text field. Here it controls the this component or this view controls a rectangle area on the screen. Rectangle area on the screen. Here next point is it is responsible for drawing itself. It is responsible for drawing itself and handling events. It is responsible for drawing itself and handling events. What are the handling events means here? Such as clicking, entering text. Such as clicking, entering text. Clicking and entering text. These are the handling events. Next, in this Android provides many ready to use views. Here in this Android provides the many ready to use views such as text view, edit text, button, radio button, etc. Here Android provides the many ready to use views such as text view, edit text, button and radio button, etc. Here in this package Android.widget here package is Android widget. Here we can also create with the for custom view by extending Android.view. Android.view. Next view group. Here a view group, it is an invisible container. It is used to lay out the view components. It is a invisible container. It is used to lay out the view components. Here this Android provides many ready to use view groups. Here views are text view, edit text, button and radio button, etc. These are the views. Here view groups are the linear layout, relative layout, table layout and grid layout. In the package is, what is the package? Android.widget. Android.widget is the package here. Next, we can also create our custom view group by extending the Android.view group. Have to extending from Android view group. Here view and view groups are organized in a single tree structure. That structure is called as the view tree. View and view groups are organized in a single tree structure. These are called the view tree. Here we can create a view tree either using some of the program codes or describing it. These are described in XML layout file. In this view groups, view group, next view, next view, view and view, view. These are the views. View in view group we are having view. These are the view groups. View group objects from the branches in the layout here. These are the view group objects from branches in the layout and container other view objects. Container on the other objects. This is about the here. What is the topic here? Creating the user interface. Creating the user interface. Next one is the next topic is commonly used layouts and controls. Here next topic is the commonly used layouts and controls. Commonly used layouts and controls. Here in this these views are controls that we want to display as an application or arranged in order. Arranged in order means sequence by placing them in desired layout. Desired layout. Here the views. Here these views are controls that we want to display in application. Application display cheyalanunte we have to arrange in order or sequence by placing them in desired layout. Here these layouts are also known as containers. These layouts are also known as containers or view groups. These layouts are also known as containers or view groups. Next, these are used for organizing the views or controllers in the required format. These containers are used for organizing the views or controls in the required format. Here another point is here in Android provides some of the layouts here. Android provides some of the layouts here. First one is the linear layout. And second one is the relative layout. Next one is the absolute layout. Next one is the frame layout. Next one is the table layout. Next one is the grid layout. In this we have 6 types of layouts here. First one is the linear layout. In this layout, all elements are arranged in the descending column from top to bottom or left to right. In this layout, all elements are arranged in descending column from top to bottom or left to right. Here in this layout, each element contains properties. In this layout, each element contains properties to specify how much of the screen space it will consume. Means here each element contains some of the properties. It is to specify how much of the screen space it will consume. Here it is depending on the orientation parameter. Its elements are either arranged in a row or column format. That is about the linear layout. Next one is relative layout. Here in this layout, each child is laid down in relation. Here in this layout, each child is laid out in relation to other child elements. In this relative layout means in this layout, each child element is laid out in relation to other child elements. That is, a child element appears in relation to the previous child. Means the elements are laid out in relation to the parent. Next, absolute layout. In this layout, each child is given a specific location within the bounds of the parent layout object. Means this layout is not suitable for devices. Means here in this layout, each child is given a specific location within the bounds of the parent layout object. Here this layout is not suitable for devices with the different screen sizes and And next one is the frame layout. Next one is the frame layout. In this frame layout, it is used to display a single view. It is used to display a single view. Here in this layout, have two views are added to place it at the top left of the layout, and other view it is added to frame layout. It is overlap in the previous view. That is, each view stacks top of the previous one. Each view stacks on top of the previous one. This is the frame layout. Next one, table layout. In this layout, the screen is assumed to divided into table rows and child elements arranged in the specific row and column. In this layout, the screen is assumed to be divided in table rows, and each of the child elements is arranged in the specific row and specific column. Next, grid layout. In this layout, child views are arranged in a grid format. There is rows and columns pattern. Here these views can be placed at the specified row and column location. More than one view can be placed at the given row and column position. Next one is these are the layouts. These are the 6 types of layouts. First one is linear layout, relative layout, absolute layout, next frame layout, next table layout, next one is grid layout. Next, text view. Next, in the text view, these are the some controls. What are the layouts? There are 6 types of layouts here. First one is linear layout, relative layout, absolute layout. Next one, frame layout, table layout, grid layout. These are the layouts. Here these are the commonly used layouts and controls. Some of the here commonly used layouts and controls. Next one is some of the controls. Some of the controls commonly used in the Android applications. We are using some of the Android applications. We are using some of the controls here. For the controls we are having first one, text view. Here. This text view, a read-only text label. It is a read-only text label. It supports the multi-line display. It supports the multi-line display, string formatting, and automatic word wrapping. A read-only text file, and it supports a multi-line display and string formatting and automatic word wrapping. Next, edit text. An editable text box. It also accepts the multi-line entry and word wrapping. Next, list view. List view means here a view group that creates and manages a vertical list of views. Here. Next, it displays them as rows within a list. Here, text view, a read only. Here, a text view means a read only text label. It supports multi-line display, string formatting, and word wrapping. Here, wrapping means it is used for covering something. Here, that is called the here wrapping. Next, edit text means here it is editable textbook that also accepts multi-line entry and word wrapping. Here word wrap means it is a word processing feature here that forces all text to be conformed within defined. Here, when line of text is filled, the word processor automatically moves the text to the next line. Word wrapping means here within defined margins. Within margins only defined here. When a line of text is filled, the word processor automatically moves the text to the next line. next line here. So the user does not have to press return key after every line కి మనం నెక్స్ట్ అని ఎంటర్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదమ్మా. ఈ వర్డ్ ర్యాపింగ్ ఏంటంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ ఫీచర్, మీన్స్ హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వెన్ ఎ లైన్ ఆఫ్ టెక్స్ట్ ఈస్ ఫిల్డ్. ఒక లైన్ ఫిల్ అయిపోయింది అనుకోండి, అది ఆటోమేటిక్గా నెక్స్ట్ లైన్కి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ అ వర్డ్ ప్రాసెసర్ హియర్, దట్ ఈస్ అ వర్డ్ ప్రాసెసింగ్ హియర్. నెక్స్ట్ లైన్ దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ హియర్ word wrapping, multi-line end and word wrapping. Here the list view, a view group that creates and manages a vertical list of views, displaying them as rows within the list here. Next, spinner means here a text view and associate list of items. It allows us to select an item from the list to display in the text box. Means text view means a list of items lo text view undanukondi, how to టెక్స్ట్ అంటే హౌ టు సెలెక్ట్ అన్ ఐటమ్ని సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవాలంటే, లిస్ట్లో ఉన్న ఐటమ్ని సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవాలంటే, టెక్స్ట్ బాక్స్ డిస్ప్లే చేసుకోవాలంటే స్పిన్నర్ అనేది యూస్ చేస్తాం. నెక్స్ట్ స్పిన్నర్ కంట్రోల్ యూస్ చేస్తాం. నెక్స్ట్ బటన్, హియర్ స్టాండర్డ్ కామన్ బటన్ హియర్. నెక్స్ట్ చెక్ బాక్స్, నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఈజ్ చెక్ బాక్స్. హియర్ ఇన్ దిస్ చెక్ బాక్స్ ఏ బటన్ అలౌవింగ్ ఏ యూజర్ టు సెలెక్ట్, చెక్ ఆర్ uncheck means check box. We know about this check box. You have to use it to select check box. Next, radio button. This is the mutually exclusive button. It is with which one selected unselects all other buttons in the group. Radio button means it is mutually exclusive button which when selected or unselects all other buttons in the group here. This is about the some of the we are using the text view controls and layouts. We are using the Android application. Some of the layouts and common used layouts and controls used in the Android applications. Next topic is the event handling. In next class I will continue ma. నాకు అర్థమైందమ్మా మీకు? హలో,
ఎస్ మేడం.
నోట్ చేసుకుంటున్నారా? Okay, my next class I will continue ma.